Hey, everybody, it's Wednesday night. Yep, we are back at it again. We got a great show coming at you. I'm looking forward to this one. And this is a subject we've talked about before, but we are going to get back in it because it's just one of those things that, in my opinion, there's so much to it. When you talk about pickup and delivery, how you can profit from it, how you can make more money, how you can be ready for triage situations. What happens if you show up and you've got a moss situation? There's just so many things that come up with pickup and delivery. We're going to dive into that. But before we start this show, first, you guys know how I like to do it. We like to say thanks to our military first responders. They are the best of the best, like Mr. Anthony and Stacy and Frank that we have in here. And I'm sure there's a few others as well. They are the best, and there is nothing better. But before we get into the what would you do's, and I think maybe somebody unmuted, so please check yourself if you're on the show and make sure you are muted. A lot of you guys already know this person if you've been involved with ARCs, or if you've just been around the industry and taken a couple good classes, you may have learned from this guy because you know what? He kind of knows his stuff. I got a chance to meet the guy, and he's just a class act, and we've been talking about doing some stuff together for quite a while since we met. And finally, some things came up and we got to talking about it and decided, you know what? Let's have fun with this. This is going to be something great. And if you guys don't know Mr. Kyle Kluth, I would like to introduce him now. Kyle, if you would, we're going to come back at the 8 o'clock hour and have you give a little bio. But real quick, could you just say hi to everybody and who you are and what you do?
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction, Cam. It was very nice of you, and great to be on the Rug Room tonight. Yeah, my name is Kyle Kluth. I know a lot of you on the show tonight, and really appreciate being here. And I am second generation rug washer, I guess. We learned how to do rug washing about 20 years ago when we started, and yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, he's going to be on with us quite a bit from here on out, it seems like. We've got some great ideas, and he will definitely be one of our moderators,
What?
and we will be going to him a lot. And yeah, we're going to make it fun.
Thank you.
So, again, I think hold on, we got to mute some people up here. I got it. All right, here we go. All right, if you would, got the Dominator in here tonight, and if the Dominator could go to that first slide for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Nate, I'm going to start out with you. Here's a nice one for us. Wavy rug after surface cleaning. The rug is in a bedroom under a heavy bed. Took the rug back to shop a few days later, added weight, and no more wave. But when you roll it up and unroll, wave comes back. Polypropylene. Can this just be that someone poured a bucket of water on it and it couldn't move around because it's under a bed and they said, okay, that's good enough? Or what went wrong here, Nate? What do you think?
Well, I didn't see this one. It almost looks like roll crush to me. But, if they say it happened during cleaning, then, it sounds like maybe a woven piece of carpet, like an Axminster. But is it poly, you said?
It says poly, but I was kind of thinking, do you think there might be something else in that side cord that could be causing it?
Well, I was wondering the foundation because I've seen poly rugs with cotton foundations, and you're talking about a fiber that's just going to let that water pass through almost. And that's good for some applications, but you gotta do your pre-inspection and know what you're dealing with and beware of these mixed fiber rugs, especially the cheap ones are the ones that always seem to come back and bite you.
Yeah, and this is one reason why that people like myself and Nate and Kyle and Tony and a lot of people on here, I'm not saying that this person cleaned it in a home or not. I mean, I think that's maybe what happened, and I'm not saying anything bad towards John. I don't want it to be that way. But this is one of the reasons why we just preach so much about bringing the rugs to our facility, even on these cheap rugs. We warn people all the time that sometimes you even think you're on a cheap rug, and you really may not be. You could actually be on something more expensive. A lot of times you don't really know, but in the end, we've got to be careful with everything we do, from pre-inspection to the whole darn thing. Tony Mazlewski as a Hisky as a Pooski, if you could jump on here for a sec, do you have an opinion about this? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, a lot of these after we clean them and we actually roll them on a tube and then we wrap them tight with shrink wrap, especially so the end doesn't wrinkle and they stay that way all the way until we deliver it. And because I used to see this a bit.
This is one of those that I was thinking as the discussion was going on, and Kyle, if you don't mind, I'm going to come to you real quick. He also mentioned that they kind of got it fixed at one point, but then after they rolled it up, it occurred again. What do you think about kind of what Tony was saying a little bit, going to a bigger tube, or even like I know Nate sometimes he'll take advantage of like a Sonono tube, and put it on there and roll it up, and then put some plastic around. Is that possible? Could you do that, and then maybe it wouldn't roll so bad?
Is that question to me, Cam? I'm sorry.
Yep, sorry. Yep, that was you, Kyle.
Okay. Yeah, possibly these get roll crushed very easily, just from even sitting on a shelf. Just like Nate said, it looks like roll crush. But I mean, in my experience too, there are a lot of times woven on jute foundations, and then when you surface clean them, the jute becomes unevenly wet, and so it shrinks uneven. It stretches out, swells, and then shrinks back unevenly. So, in our experience, we just take it into a full immersion wash, and it fixes the problem. Roll it up nice and tight, just like Tony said, and then deliver it. Make sure that it's completely dry before you roll it up. Maybe that was an issue too when they rolled it up. Maybe it was getting crushed a little bit, and because it was wet, it started to dry out more. I don't know. I wasn't there for the whole situation. Not saying they did anything wrong. It's just sometimes stuff happens. I get it.
Well, and that's a great point, Kyle. And a lot of times too, we find, sometimes people run out of space or they're limited, and so they have to put the rug on the concrete to dry it or something. They think the rug is dry, but because it's on that concrete, it really isn't. There's still some moisture in there. Mr. Belmonte, if you're still here, you have anything that you would approach it with? You like where Kyle's coming from? Would you do it differently? What's your thoughts on it?
No, I agree with that. Now we have just rolled them on like, a cardboard carpet core, but a lot of times we'll roll them face fiber out and then wrap them tightly and transport them that way. I don't know in this with this with being polypropylene if that would be, helpful in any way on it, but generally we try to do that on these that we see we have this issue. We've had some where we've had to actually physically, tack them out, put some tackless on something like this. We would probably just put some tackless down on our floor and then stretch it, with a knee kick or a power stretch it onto it.
Yeah. I think the good news is here, in the end, I think this is fixable. I think this is manageable for them. Get it back to your
Absolutely.
facility and come up with a plan and go after it. And you know what? The first, plan A may not work. You might have to go to plan B or plan C, but hands down, I truly believe this is fixable. So I hope if John's listening to this or listens to the recording that he, gives it a shot and goes after it. And you know what? If you're not comfortable with it, remember this too. If you don't have the facility or the area, excuse me, in the area to do it, find someone in the industry near you, someone you can trust, bring it to them. Most people in this industry are great people. They're going to help you out. So make sure you shop around to have
And
someone.
also what Kyle was saying about fully wetting this instead of just, trying to keep low moisture or surface, topical type cleaning. Fully wetting it out is going to probably solve this problem. Most likely.
Yeah. Well, and it goes to prove that just because you do low moisture or you just use a portable or one and you turn your pressure all the way down, you do these different things, it goes to show that this stuff still can happen. Nate, I see you got your hand up. Go ahead.
I just wanted to point out, these guys are absolutely correct. It could be a jute foundation or jute side cords, Robin said in chat, but it looks more across the board, over the whole rug. My pictures aren't showing completely. I only see like one side of the rug, but you know, moisture control is the key. And it doesn't mean you can't surface clean these, but you have to be so careful in how you apply that moisture. And then,
Rug source.
Someone needs to
sorry,
read that. I'm looking.
Anthony and
I'm getting rubber banding.
Yeah, I'm looking right now to see who it is. I think I got it. Sorry about that, Nate.
No worries. But that's about it. If this is correctable, I agree with full submersion washing. You can try like just weighting down the sides or counter rolling sometimes. But, if it's that much shrinkage and it's done on location, it's probably wand overlap. So you're literally getting double the water in the in-betweens than you are where the wand is, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely it does. Kyle, I'm not sure. I'm not the tech savvy one. I'm sure Dom saw that. If I can do it, I'll definitely do that because that does help. Okay, let's go ahead and we're gonna go to this next slide and talk about it a little bit. And this rug, I see people going, man, this could be an issue. This rug's not even gonna bleed. It's not gonna crock. There's no colors gonna come. This is one of the easiest rugs in the world to clean, Nate. I mean, this is simple. You could just hit it with some, let's go with some good old CTI. Oh, you know what? Heck, let's go with Flex. Let's put some Flex on this bad boy. It'll come out beautiful. Am I wrong or right here, Nate?
Well, as usual, you're wrong. When you see, like Ellen always taught us, when you see funky colors, it's probably Turkish. And, this looks like one of those really stripped and loud colored rugs that they tried to mute down. But, all bets are off with these. I think I see bleeding just looking at it.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is one of the fun ones. We've done quite a few of these, and if you're newer, it's pretty scary. But Robin, you're in the room. This is your post. If you want to unmute, we'll come to you for a second. I bet you're looking forward to cleaning this.
This was actually a surprise. I didn't see this rug when it came into the shop, and I just happened to be on the wash floor yesterday and rolled it out, and I went, "Whoa, hey!" What you? That was my first thought, but if you go to my next pictures, those center medallions are actually painted. The pictures don't do it justice. These things were so bright, and I was like, "Whoa!" They were actually painted, and I called it on the watch list. I was like, "Oh, yep, that's stop right there." So, but they're painted. I wish I would have took a picture of the back to show it, but the back is a completely different color, and this is just if you grin the rug a little bit and you get down into the fiber, it's literally just the surface of the rug that's painted.
That's wild. That is absolutely wild. Kyle, if you don't mind, I'll come right back to you, Nate, because I'll have a question to throw at you anyways on this. Kyle, you see this come in? I mean, are you crazy like me? You get a little excited and go, "Oh, this one's going to be fun."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. I'm interested in seeing how this one comes out. Because yeah, there is like Nate said, there's some dye bleed on it, and I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool to get rid of that so you can see what the true colors are like. But you don't want to get rid of that paint. Well, I mean, I wouldn't care if I got rid of the painted stuff, but the client might not like got rid of the painted stuff. So you'd have to be careful with that for sure. I mean, I'm assuming that's all those colors are going to bleed. Those painted colors, at least, are going to bleed like crazy. I mean, I wouldn't care if the red bled on the regular stuff, but the other stuff, yeah, you'd have to figure out how you're going to be able to contain that somehow or work around it.
Yeah,
I,
absolutely.
I actually did wash this today, so I should have
Oh.
a final product, finished product of it tomorrow when I get into the shop. I did some stripping on it, and
Nice.
area away from the painted areas. I think it's going to turn out really good. It was a challenge, but I'm like you all, like a good challenge, so took it on. I think it's going to turn out pretty good.
Nate, let me jump over to you. I mean, looking at this, let's say we've got urine on this rug and it's fairly soiled. I mean, we've got to wash it. We've got to get it clean. What do you think about going in? This is one of those where I'm looking dye control first. You got to go in first with it to protect yourself and move quick. Definitely going to be diapering when you go into the fuge. What are you thinking? What's in your head that becomes a big priority?
Well, I'm already seeing, right in the center that left-hand blue or purple, we've already got bad bleeding, and it makes me wonder what's under the paint, what were they covering up that this is like a viable fix? And in the white area, especially in the left-hand picture, I'm seeing stamping that was never addressed. Clear designs in that orange on the white background.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just wash it and predict that the paint or whatever it is. It could be fabric paint, it could be house paint for all we know. But it's probably some kind of art paint, and I would predict it would go, and that would be okay with me. I would paint that as a positive. But if it stays, it stays.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Belmont, before we go on to the next one, you have an opinion, anything you want to say on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would think that, you know, you're going to expect that paint to move. You know, I would say maybe, you know, you can contain it, or at least keep it from becoming a problem, because it certainly does look like a more, like Nate was saying, a fabric paint. It does not appear to be, you know, an ink. It's just too almost covering over the fiber to a smooth finish and its thickness, I guess.
Right.
But
Yeah,
I think it would be a fun challenge to take on. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, this is one where the biggest thing I would scream to everyone here tonight is extremely pre do a pre-inspection on this big time. I mean, it has to be, you guys spend a lot of time on it. Make sure you check it really well, know what's going to do what, and you can't mess around long. I mean, you got to move quick on this. Nate, that's another thing I believe. You've got to really
well,
move
you
fast.
also have to make sure you communicate with the client on
Yeah.
a lot of the possibilities are, you know, there's so many unknown variables in this that, you know, I mean,
Yeah, you could get some serious blowback on you if you messed this up and didn't talk to that client.
exactly. So, I mean, you know, that the client needs to be aware of what the issues are and get some expectations and whatnot down with them, so that they know the risk too. I mean, to them, even though they may know that's painted on there, but that might be the most beautiful part of the rug to them. And you know, you know, it's theirs. You're only going to try and help them with it as best you can.
Absolutely. Nate, go ahead, sir.
I was just going to add that that's really important, is communication, and just asking the client, you know, if it comes down to it, what do we do if it comes down to saving the paint or making the rug healthy and happy again? You know, which would you prefer? And get the client involved in what our end goal is. You know, I posted in chat kind of tongue in cheek, but maybe her grandma painted this before she passed away and she doesn't want it gone in any way.
Absolutely. Could be. You never know.
Yeah, but you know, we have to ask as cleaners. It's definitely a strange one.
Yeah, these are always the ones when you diaper them up and you pull it out of the fuge and you unroll it, it looks like you got a rug on a diaper. You know, it just they print so well, and it's kind of fun to do actually. So, okay, let's go on to the next slide here. And remember, everyone, when we hit about 8:20, 8:25, we will go into open mic and we'll answer some questions as well and try to get those in at the end of the night. So if we get something, if we're going over something and you're curious or you want to, you know, put your voice out there or your opinion on something, just let us know. We'll be more than happy to hear what you got to say. So, okay, this one came in. Did I give you, Dom, any writing on this one? I know it's a silk. They believe it's a silk rug that came in. I can't remember if there was some writing with it or not, but if not, anyways, I'm going to jump over to you, Nate. And this is one I can't remember who put this in. I apologize. Who, what was it, Chris? Yep. You know what, Chris? Jump unmute, buddy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
gotta talk to you anyways, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm great. Yeah. First, thank you guys for giving me this platform to be able to speak on this. When I first got this in, when I first made the post, as Anthony Belmonte pointed out, I had no clue that I could possibly be dealing with ink here. I tested, croc tested and bled test, 24-hour test with deodorizing rug shampoo and complete stamp on the 24-hour test, and the rug was slightly crocking. Just the indigos were going with the deodorizing rug shampoo. And I went further after Anthony Belmonte's comment on my post. I went further and tested with alcohol, and it was significantly more crocking with alcohol. So I know he was already going towards that route with it being overdyed with ink. So that's where I'm at right now. I know I talked a lot about in the post, substantivity. I've seen it benefit myself. I've seen it just buy myself time, and I've also seen it do absolutely nothing at all. But that's where I'm at right now with this rug.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't know where it's going to go or what's going to happen. But
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
makes you a great cleaner, though, Chris, and why you've come so far in such a short period of time. I've been privileged to know you for a while now and where you started, and your cleaning abilities is really, really excellent. And the best thing I like about you is you don't rush it. You're not just taking a swing at it. You're testing, you're listening to what people are saying, you're getting some advice, and then you put that together. And Nate and Anthony, I'll go to you first, Nate. You guys, you pick up onto this stuff right away. You see it, you bring it up, but now what do? We've got to address it. We've got to take care of it. How are we going to get this rug clean and looking great?
Well, silk likes acidic pH. It's acid dyed, so we want to stay where it's comfortable and keep the dyes that haven't moved where they are. And if we've got ink that we've got to deal with, or pigments, whatever it is, we want to make sure that we protect the rest of the rug as we clean. But I would kind of stay neutral to acid on this one, and I would do a lot of light, fast cleanings, I think, on the wet side. Silk, you have to be careful dusting silk rugs. They're prone to UV sun fade, so I don't know if that's going on here, if it's just lighting, but you want to note that stuff when they come in. I think on one of the back shots there was pre-existing bleed, and that's kind of what tipped. I think, was it Chris who posted this?
Yep.
Yeah, that was like a big red flag. Sometimes it'll fuzz up like that if it's been on a hard surface floor and you can think it's bleeding. So just look close and, document everything and communicate with the client. But with this one, you need to flush all of that out of there. I would start with just a safe, gentle cleaning and see where we're at, and make sure you use like a dye control product so that, if those inks start moving, we're gonna not worry so much about redeposition, but move fast and get these in and out. A lot of light and fast cleanings, in my experience, are better than going hard and heavy, in one
No,
shot.
it's hard to argue that one. I'd have to agree with you on that, Nate. Anthony, if we could have you jump in. Matter of fact, I remember a long time ago, you sent us that nasty, nasty Hurricane rug. And if I remember correctly, you said, I got a rug that's got a little bit of urine on it. It's really not that bad, but we can send it to you if you guys want to mess with it. And I think when we emptied or opened the bag, I think Nate and Paul had puked in less than about 30 seconds. And it was like one of the worst rugs ever came into my facility. But that one, you know what? We did wash that one multiple times, and we did go fast, and we didn't mess around. And I think it was 2 or 3 cleanings, and it came out pretty darn good. But Anthony, how would you approach this? What are you thinking on that ink if you wanted to make it look better? Are you just going to throw it on and wash and work the ink at the same time? You're going to work.
Yeah,
How do you approach it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. How would you approach it?
I think, like Nate said, you're going to want to move quick and do it multiple times. I might start with an initial, full wet, use some dye control and try and keep things moving. Obviously, on a silk, you're not going to be aggressive, so there's, that issue. But I think I would try and flush as much as I possibly could on an initial quick run with it. And then I would probably, believe it or not, I would dry this rug, get it 100% dry, and then I'd start with some light, maybe dry, wet, dry type method, working on this and being able to work on the ink during those dry side cleanings.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to go. The other thing I think about too is we also got the urine in play. And, that can always, mix things up pretty good depending on how bad that urine is. Chris, real quick, if you don't mind me asking, is it really, really strong odor? Is it mild? What do you think?
I don't think it's bad at all. I would put it at a 2 to 3. I mean, it's definitely not the worst I've ever seen. I've cleaned a lot of mercerized cotton that is bleeding and crocking on me, and with a lot worse urine. And with the alkaline dwell time that I've had with those, I've seen the dye migration,
Oh yeah.
but obviously that's where the stripping comes involved. And I've had great success with that. I don't know if I'm on a hot streak or not with mercerized cotton.
Better
But
knock on that wood. Just,
I know I haven't seen too many indigos. That's why this one's raising all the red flags. All I've heard you guys talk about for the last 3 years is indigo pigments and the challenges that those can provide. So yeah, that's been a big thing with it. But yeah, what you guys were just saying, the stuff that gets you excited to get up and clean a rug. This is one that definitely I've been waiting for and looking forward to getting into. No matter if we have a sign off or not, or the customer communication is there, I'll definitely have a lot less anxiety if there is a sign off. That's for sure. But yeah.
Absolutely. Kyle, I want to pop over to you, and I know you've got to have an opinion on this. What do you think?
I have questions.
Throw them out
Um,
there. Let's do it, brother.
can you flip back to that last slide where it was a better close-up picture of the field? There was another slide, I think. Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, I'd be interested to see, does the back, I can't tell from the picture, does the back match the front of the rug? It does look darker to me, like everybody's saying it might have been over dyed somehow with an ink, but if the back matches the front of the rug, then but what makes me nervous is if you go back to that other slide again. Sorry to make you work, Cam. Yeah, you got the bleeding in that kilim strip. So that bleeding is coming most likely from the back of the rug. So possibly somebody used something on it previously that was a buffered product and they washed it with it, and then now it's holding that pH. So, and you might have already said this, Chris, and did you happen to do a pH test on the fiber itself?
I have not. No.
Okay, yeah. So I'd be interested in finding out what the pH of the fiber is with the distilled water and the litmus paper, just to make sure, maybe that's what the problem is going on here, and it needs to get washed out, that product that's in there. But when you do that, you're taking a risk too, because as soon as you get it wet, it's going to blow out more, than it already has. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of different ways you can approach this. I agree with every option that everybody's presented so far. If it was my rug at my shop and I got the person to sign off on it, I would probably end up just washing it completely and spinning it out, diaper it, spin it out, and really make sure it's dry, and then dry it flat upside down with some fans on it and turn the dry room on right away. Get it hot and dry in like an hour.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great approach. Good ideas from everybody. Any other questions, Chris, before we move on to the, well, we'll come back at 8:20, 8:25 there. If you got another question about, let us know. Okay, brother. Great post, by the way. Very, very good post. Okay, let's go to the next one, please. All right. So I want to talk about a couple of things and why I put this up. Number one, I love people who have got integrity and are just good people. And they put things, before the money. And Issa's one of them. I talked to her the other day and we were discussing what's going on in Jacksonville. We just sold, this class is sold out. We're starting Thursday. We're going to prep everything, and Danny and I are going to start teaching on Friday. And we only have you guys to thank and people like Issa to thank, so, and then we were talking about, what we're going to do in late June, which we'll talk about that a little bit more here shortly. Right away, she was in. She said, Cam, I'll be there. If volunteer, no problem. And so now not only is she adjusting her schedule to come to Jacksonville to be part of the class, she's also adjusting her schedule in late June to be part of something even bigger. Might be one of the biggest things we've ever seen, hopefully. We'll see how it all plays out. But she's just a good person. She cares about the industry. So I wanted to bring her name up because if you're out there and you're trying to learn more about, how to dye rugs, how to dye carpet, any of that stuff, give her a call because she's a great person. She cares about the industry and she wants to see it be, everybody do good. So like I said, give her a ring if you need anything. She'll be in Jacksonville Friday and Saturday, and then we'll of course see her in late June. So, okay, on to the next couple of things. One of them I just mentioned. In June 27th and 28th, and I got to say something real quick. Of course, I got all you guys to thank, no doubt about it, because you guys are just amazing. But every now and then you run across a couple people that are really good friends and they help you with stuff, or they listen to your opinion or what you're getting ready to do. And they say, no, don't do that. And Dom's one of them. Dom is a great guy. I want to mention his name because I can call the guy and say, hey, I'm thinking I should do this. And Dom will go, Camp, that's stupid. Don't do that. He won't BS about it. He'll just say it. The other guy I got mentioned is Mark Kennedy. If you guys, haven't talked to Mark, you don't know Mark, you reach out to him if you ever need something. He's a great coach, and he's done a lot for me because when I first got this thing that we're going to be doing on June 27th and 28th, my original idea, the way I was going to lay it out, he shot down right away. I mean, I'm telling him what I'm going to do, and he's like, no, that's not going to work, Cam. You can't call it that. You got to do it this way. And you know what? He was 110% right. Oh, let me see. Somebody's got to mute up. Let's see who that is. Give me a sec here. And I want to mention that because there's no way in hell we would be where we are right now if it wasn't for him telling me that. And we're already, I believe, as of tonight, we're at 55, 56 people coming on June 27th and June 28th to I call it the give back class. It's an advanced course. It's going to be spotting. It's going to be stripping rugs, but it's about giving back too. And everybody needs to do a hell of a lot more of it. And then on top of that, you got guys like Kyle, who's on here tonight, didn't even hesitate to be part of this. He knows there ain't no money in this, and he just jumped on it right away to be part of it. Anthony Belmont called up, said, hey, I'd be happy to come out and work on it. Tony's ready to come out and teach on it. Just so many people are willing to help out with this. And not to mention, we've got some great sponsors like Rug Pad Wizard and a couple others that I think are going to be sponsoring. We'll be talking about that soon too. Just super, super wonderful people. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm going, holy cow, we're up at 55. Where am I parking cars at? I mean, we're going to be parking everybody on the front lawn, it looks like. But you know what? We're going to do what we have to do because I think this is going to be something really, really special, something really cool. And I know Kyle, myself, Anthony, Tony, everybody's going to be part of this. Issa, we're all going to do our damnedest to give you something good, something great that you will really like. So, but the cool thing with all this happening is I actually called Kyle the other day too, and then I'll shut my mouth and we'll get on this subject. Sorry. And I said, Kyle, I'm interested in having you start being part of the Rug Room Live. Again, no hesitations. And those are the people I love being surrounded by. And I've had a lot of them around me. There's a lot of great people who've been part of the show, and things change from time to time. That's okay. But they're all wonderful people. And so I know, Kyle, you plan to be here quite a bit, and we're going to be doing a lot more of this together. But if you could, I'd like you to unmute. I know a lot of people already here know who you are, but if you could tell them just a little bit about you, what you do, and yeah, good stuff like that.
Yeah, well, let me pull up my my notes about myself so I don't forget who I am and what I do. So yeah, I just a quick overview of who I am. I work for my dad. Most everybody knows my dad, Kevin Kluth. He started the company Pinnacle Cleaning back in 1980, and he was doing janitorial work, janitorial cleaning, mostly for doctors' offices after hours. He worked full time too, at the mail room at the hospital. So, but then he found that there was a little niche that needed to be done in carpet cleaning. So he started doing carpet cleaning because nobody was good enough. And then that devolved into cleaning rugs in people's houses because that's where we started. And then we realized that that wasn't the best thing to do. So we started learning how to wash rugs. And that was about 20 years ago that we started washing rugs. So, and then I, just have a few mentors that I kind of think of when I think of the industry. I think of Jim Pemberton, Lisa Wagner, Murray Peacock, Robert Mann, Mark Violand, and Sean Bisayone. They're all, really great and instrumental in helping me learn more about what's going on with what I'm actually doing, and how to actually do it really good. So, and right now I'm serving, as you mentioned, I'm serving as a vice president on the board of directors for the Association of Rug Care Specialists. And this is my last year on the board, but I just made the vice president this past month. So that was kind of exciting for me that I'm actually doing something, kind of to be able to give back just like you are, Cam, with your Give Back Day. Just able to, because as a volunteer position, it's not paid at all. So what we're doing is we're trying to just, create more content and more value for not just us as contractors or rug washers, but also the vendors as well. Being able to be able to give something to them as well, to be able to make more money, because we want people that support us to make money too, like rug pad, people that sell rug pads, people that sell chemicals, anything like that comes into the purview of rug washing. So yeah, that's basically a little bit about me.
Well, that's awesome, Kyle, and I do appreciate it. You being willing to help out and do this stuff is very cool. And so, just like the rest of the volunteers here, when they come here and give their time and stuff, we truly appreciate all of it. So, well, let's jump into that main subject, Kyle. While I got you on, I'm going to start with you. Um, pickup and delivery. I mean, I was talking with Tony today, and by the way, I should mention too, real quick, Tony Ozluski Ozapusky is just one of the greatest damn guys you could ever meet. He's got the worst phone voice when you first meet him, okay? The worst. But when you get to know Tone, he is the real deal. He's just a class act. So I didn't mention his name earlier, so I wanted to do that. But Kyle, I was talking with Tony, and I realized quick that he really didn't know a damn thing. And I thought, I'm gonna have to call Kyle because he's smarter than Tony, and he just doesn't know much. Um, when we talk free pickup and delivery, man, what's the first thing when it comes to being profitable? What is the first thing that jumps in your mind that people make mistakes on?
Okay, you said pickup and delivery,
Yep.
and I immediately thought of the first thing that I learned when I was getting into the rug cleaning business that I did not like, and I still maintain to this day that I personally don't like it, and that's not how we operate our business. We learned that you shouldn't educate your people on the pickup and deliveries, your technicians. There was people that said, "Oh no, it's much faster if they just go in, they pick up the rugs, and then you get the rugs and you do everything in the shop." No, I don't subscribe to that logic, and that's how we operate. So we educate our technicians fully, basically on everything that we're doing. Our technicians that go out and pick up rugs are actually washing rugs in the shop. So they know the process thoroughly. They know all of our products. They know what we use. They know what we can do for rugs. So that way they can sell right then and there in the client's home. And then we have ways that we sell even after the fact in delivery too. But that's, I think, the biggest thing for me that was like a shocker. I wouldn't send a carpet cleaning technician to somebody's house not knowing how to clean carpet. So why would I send somebody to pick up a rug that costs more than the carpet that doesn't know anything about it? That's my personal opinion and how I stand on it. And I think it makes us a good amount of money because of that.
Now, so do you have a set charge or is there just no charge? How are you charging for it?
We charge by the square foot, and like everybody else does, I'm sure. But what we do is we offer discount if people drop it off. I don't like the idea of having a pickup and delivery fee because people are kind of fee fatigued, at least in our area. They don't like all the fees associated with things. And also, if you have a flat rate fee for a rug, for a rug pickup, it's $50 to pick up 10 rugs. I'm getting an extra dollar per square foot for all those rugs. So I'm pulling in an extra, $400 or more just to pick up the rugs. So I think that that's more cost effective for us than having a flat rate fee for picking up rugs. That's how we run it.
Now, I know some people too, everybody's got a different business model. So if I, like for example, my business model was we were mostly apartments. We did a lot of
Mm.
commercial stuff, okay? And so we never had our guys picking up rugs just because, well, they were cleaning apartments. They didn't know anything about a rug. And so it wasn't and they didn't have the time. So my question to you, if you weren't doing residentials, do you think you would do it differently? Or would you still try to do it the same way or similar?
Yeah, we're kind of we're full service when we pick up and deliver rugs. The only thing that we say we don't move is clocks and pianos. Because a lot of people have a rolled and ready discount or something like that where they require their clients to roll it up. It's like I don't want the client rolling up the rug because they never roll it up right, and then it's harder for me to carry that rug out the door. I'd rather move the furniture and roll the rug up. So I think that, yeah, I mean, if we were doing more commercial work, it probably would look different. I can't really speak to that because we do mostly residential work.
Right.
But I still would run it the same way. I like being full service. We are talking about giving some sort of a discount for rolled and ready, and then just raising the price on full service pickup and delivery. But we haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. And I don't like the idea of the rolled and ready thing because, again, like I said, they never roll it right.
Yeah, and that's something we moved to when COVID hit.
Yeah.
Do things a little different. We and then after this, I'm probably going to go to Nate, and then we'll go to Anthony. We'll kind of go down the line here. The way we do it is, and this was because of COVID. We just started telling people, look, you got to have the rug rolled up and by the door. Now, for us, it actually went pretty darn good. Yeah, you got a few rugs that weren't rolled up perfectly straight, and then every now and then someone would fold one, and and it's stuck in a foyer, and you're trying to get it all unfolded and do what you needed to do. But that worked out well for us. It became to where they just automatically started doing it, and we didn't give a discount for that. This is just what you have to do, and we also got away from moving furniture unless an older person, they needed the help or something. That's a little different. We try to help them as much as possible, but we just got away from that, and we offer free pickup and delivery, but only for orders over a certain amount. I think it's at 300 right now, something like that. We also have the privilege, though, in Omaha, everything's 20 minutes away. I mean, and a lot of our stuff comes from certain pockets. So it's so easy for us to schedule and kind of get around that a little bit. But I know like some people are in the bigger cities and they hit traffic time. I mean, you're losing money. That money's just dropping right out of your pocket. Nate, I know are you charging now for all your pickup and deliveries? Are you discounting? What are you doing?
Yeah, we're charging right now. We try and discourage it. This morning, I met movers who were picking up 5 oversized rugs to bring them back home and move the furniture for the client. I have them all wrapped and tubed in breathable perforated poly tubing, so they're not going to get damaged in transit. I roll them the right way. I give instructions where we need to. I mean, one of the rugs was one of these just flimsy Indo-Tibetans where they're not even interlocking the foundation anymore. So they're just like, you could put your finger through them. And, if they're loomed, they can split if they're carried wrong. So, but they're professional movers, good equipment. And I just ask the client to arrange that and handle that. And actually the personal assistant of the client. So she kind of is used to doing all the scouting and legwork. So I just kind of threw it at them. But right now we're at 150 each way as a minimum. I just picked up an oversized one at an old folks home for an existing customer. But we try and get them down here to recruit friends or family. But time that we're in the field, we need to be compensated for. I like the idea of by the square foot because, man, on big rug orders, you're killing it. That's
On that, and I kind of like that too, because it also takes away avoiding the oversized charge for a large rug. You don't have to say, "Oh, wait, your rug's this big. Now we got another charge to throw on you." It's kind
we
of,
do
wait,
oversized.
Kyle's got his hand. Let me jump back to Kyle. He put his hand up right away. No, no, no. Go ahead, Kyle. Explain it.
So our centrifuge, we have Tom's centrifuge. It's 13 feet. We can fit a rug that's 13 feet 9 inches wide into that centrifuge. If it's wider than 13 feet 9 inches, I will charge more. I don't care.
Okay.
Because I can't fit it in the centrifuge. So that's my rule. And I forgot the other thing I was going to say. So whatever.
We'll come back to you. We're going to be here for a while. So you'll be okay.
We charge oversized for both length and width. If it's over 10 wide, if it's over 12 or no, 12 long, when it's an extra buck for each of those. So, I did a lot of oversized rugs this week. My back's killing me. I need to be compensated for the pain I'm inflicting on myself.
Anthony, I want to jump to you for a sec. Kyle, I'll come right back to you. So don't forget it again. Okay. Don't forget it again. Anthony, here's something I want to talk about. Do you think, and this goes back to the days of sitting with a friend of mine, good friend of mine, Robert Hughes, who I think is a brilliant guy. We were having a discussion, and in that discussion, we were talking about how important we both thought it was to have a person who was really kind of designated to go get those rugs. He wanted to go pick up every rug possible because he knew that once he was in the home, the chances of him getting more rugs would go way up. Did you ever think about that? Did you have a strategic way of doing it and try to send yourself or a certain person that you knew would follow the program and ask before they walk out, Mrs. Jones, are there any other rugs you want me to look at before I leave? Anything like that? What's your thought on it?
Well, we kind of like what Kyle was saying. We've always, whoever's going out on our pickup and deliveries, at least one of the people on pickup and delivery always had two person crew, um, was on the wash floor at least 2 or 3 days a week, at the minimum. So they were knowledgeable, like Kyle was saying. They know the process, and that kind of gives them that ability to talk about other rugs with the client, even if the client doesn't want them cleaned. Just a lot of times they didn't know they wanted this rug cleaned, this other rug, but you start talking, oh, that's a beautiful whatever, and just be careful, make sure you rotate it, because you can see you're starting to develop a little bit of a traffic lane here. It's hard to see with the furniture on it, and the next thing you know, they're coming out with 4 rugs instead of 1 rug. So we've always had at least one of the two out on the truck, that washes on a regular basis for us, has that knowledge, and knows a little more about rugs. The other ones may be newer person with us, and they don't have a lot of that knowledge yet, and it gives them a chance to learn just by listening, actually. So
Absolutely.
that's one of the things that really has worked well for us. But we charge for pickup and delivery, and ours is kind of, unfortunately, we're not like you. I mean, we can't get to our next door neighbor in 20 minutes with the traffic we deal with, but
Yeah.
It's kind of based on zip codes, and we just have it broken out, and they let them know. Although his square foot pricing, and then discount for carry in, is interesting, and I'm going to have to look into that a little more. But other than that, we really haven't had any pushback as far as charging. We used to, years ago, we were not charging for pickup and delivery, and then Mark Kennedy about beat me up and said, "You're an idiot. You can't do that."
Mark should be here tonight. I mean, here it is. He's getting a couple good compliments, and he what the heck?
We
Come on,
never
Tom,
say that to
on the
his
show.
face.
Lisa's here. She can tell him.
Well, wait, if Lisa's here, we know Mark's here. Then Mark's somewhere.
He's probably listening in somewhere. But yeah, I mean, he told me, he said, your time, you're paying people to be out there to do this. He said it doesn't make you money, but it shouldn't, cost you as much as it does. Giving it away is not wise.
Absolutely. Kyle, I know you had a question. I want to come to you first, and then I'm going to go to Tony. Kyle, you go first.
No, just my other comment was, we don't charge for pickup and delivery. We offer a discount. Is how we frame it on the phone. We offer a discount if you drop the rug off. So if you'd like to save 25%, then you can bring the rug to us, and that usually gets them to bring them in. And then it really filters. No,
I've always been anti-do that. And does it really help get them in?
Kyle, I'm with you on that, by the way.
I don't know who this guy is following me in here, and
yeah, oh yeah, it filters out the junk, like the ones who are price shopping and who are not going, they just want the one done. They're going to do what they can to save the money, and they're going to bring them in. But the ones who don't care and who want you to sell to them and who will buy more still want you to come out. And then when you go out, they're the more serious clients anyways. So now you're there in their home and you see the other rugs and you can sell more. So
right.
Every once in a while we get one person say, well, you do charge for pickup and delivery because you're just not giving the discount to me. It's like, no, just go away.
Let me jump over to Tony. Tony, I know you and I had a conversation today, and I know you're gonna have a post for tomorrow, but I know you have a very strong opinion on charging or not charging. What do you have to say?
Yeah, we used to do the discount if they dropped it off, but then I realized, why am I discounting my service? Whether I pick it up or they drop it off, it's still getting the $4 for wool on that wash floor. So, and then for our pickups, so we charge for pickups, anywhere from it's going to sound strange, but $50 to $135 an hour. We've got to deal with traffic, high rises. I mean, I've waited 45 minutes for an elevator in a high rise just because of all the contractors.
You didn't know what button to push, did you? Go ahead and tell
I
the truth.
didn't. I didn't. I didn't realize what service meant. I never mind. So one of the things is if it's something very large or very unique or it's under something, we'll just say call a white glove moving service. We'll give you ours if you want or have your own. And some of these people pay $1,500 to get a rug to us. And we're only going to charge, $700 or $800 to clean it because it might have been a big oversized rug. And I'm like, well, you paid $1,500 for the drop off, $1,500 for it to go back, $3,000. And yeah, it's a $20,000 rug. They need it cleaned and they're tired of the big puke stain on it. So they'll pay it if you can prove that it's legitimate and they want it. So that's what I look at.
Absolutely. So let's take these next few minutes. Let's do this. Because we're talking about, whether you do charge or whether you don't charge and all that stuff. What I want to do is come to a few of you guys. I'm going to make Miranda get on here too, because I know she switched computers. That means when she switches computers, that means she's ready to talk. She's ready to go and teach us something. So, what I want to do is I want an idea of what we can do to make more money with the pickup and delivery. One I would like, and I've heard someone say it, and I cannot remember who it was, so I can't give credit, but I thought it was pretty smart, is they said, well, when we only have a couple pickups in a certain zip code, we will send out a text blast to our clients in that zip code and let them know that we are doing free pickup and delivery that day in zip code 68138. And if they want to take advantage of it, if they call in the next week or the next hour or whatever you're going to do, that you'll put them on the list. And I thought, that's a pretty damn good idea because you might, I mean, you may only get one, but isn't that one better than nothing, right? So I thought that was a good idea. So I wanted to mention that one. Tony, I'll go to you first, and then I'm going to go to Miranda. Or did you just had your hand up by accident? You got to hit
Sorry
unmute.
about that. I'm just trying to walk through the warehouse.
Okay.
No, I just thought of another thing is when we would offer a discount, if you dropped it off, I'll never forget this. Hey, we'll give you 25% discount. The person shoves a tufted rug into their trunk. By the time it got here, it was no good. So I rather have the homeowner not touch the rug. So that's just one of my thoughts. If they want to bring it in on their own, fine.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Miranda, I know you've got to have a great idea, right?
I mean, I don't know if I have great ideas, but I do like to talk about this subject. And I mentioned in the rug room that I really wanted to be on because I love hearing what everybody does, because this is one of those subjects where I know for a fact, if you asked like 10 of us, we're probably all 10 doing something a little bit different. And so this is definitely one of those subjects. So for me, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do, right? But for me, I have a very small operation. There's only 5 of us. So if I have deliveries all the time, I don't really like my guys being gone that much, okay? And Scott doesn't like being on the van. He wants to be at the shop. And so what we have been doing is we have deliveries 2 days a week, and we're in Scottsdale typically 2 days a week. And then sometimes it's like 1 day of Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, and then maybe we have some East Valley deliveries or some West Side deliveries. Now, for pricing for pickup and delivery, I have a tiered pricing structure. So I can go ahead and put that into the rug room if anybody's curious. So if they're only a few miles away, it's like 50, $60. But if they're like over 25 miles away, I mean, it's jumping up to $200 and that's round trip, right? Plus, we are charging setting fees and furniture if we have to do that because my guys are going to be in the home for a long time. And we work with all these designers, so it's not uncommon for them to be in the home for like an hour installing 2 rugs, right? So we just learned over time that we have to charge for that. And it really starts at that first phone call. If it's a pickup and delivery and they're for sure doing pickup and delivery, then I'm trying to ask if they want pad and protector. I'm trying to ask if there's furniture moving. And I usually say, hey, is there any furniture moving at the time of the pickup or the return? I just want to let the guys know. I don't want there to be any surprises. And then with my designers and my high-end clients and the big rugs, I'm very upfront with them in the beginning. I say, look, I'm sending 2 guys on the van. We're not a moving company. We can't be moving like pianos and pool tables and bookcases and mechanical beds. We say no to a lot of beds, and like stone tables and glass tables and things like that, heavy, heavy tables, because I don't want my guys getting hurt. And if it's that tricky of a situation, then it's really out of our scope and they need to have a professional mover or install company. And so there are a couple that a lot of the designers use that we can refer to, but typically I'll ask them, I'll say, who installed the rug for you? Who installed all that living room furniture for you? And they already have a guy. I actually had this conversation today. The lady has a 15 by 18 rug, so it may not even fit in our delivery van. And so she's just gonna hire the guy who installed it for her. And they're gonna bring it to us. And I say, hey, you know what? I give a 10% discount when you drop it off. So some of that money that you're gonna pay that mover, you're gonna get 10% from me on the cleaning. And she was so excited. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna make arrangements. I'm gonna have him drop it off to you. I love that. I personally love that because that takes so much time off of my plate. I don't have to schedule the pickup. I don't have to do dispatch on that day. I don't have to have my guys out all day. I don't have to have my guys in her home doing all that furniture moving and everything. So I prefer the rugs to come to me. And then if it's within business hours, I'm there, Scott's there, or my office manager is there. And we could go through pre-inspections with them. We could talk to them about pad and protector and repairs. And we always make more money on those tickets that are drop-offs opposed to being in the home. Because I really kind of have the A team at the shop.
If it's between 10 and 2, I'm at the shop. Don't fool yourself.
Yeah, right.
Hey, good. It's good to see you guys. By the way, that's a cute cat you guys got. Kyle, I want to come over to you,
Brian. I see you, Jess. I see you, shake your head. 10 to 2. Tuesday to Thursday.
Yep, 10 to 2, Tuesday to Thursday. Pretty much.
All right, Kyle, I want to come back up to you. Let me ask you. So now we're kind of talking about this, how we can find a way to make some more money. So let me ask you this: do you have an idea, and also do you have a training for your carpet techs when they're out? Because you mentioned how you utilize them, and they know both. Do they have any type of certain questions they're supposed to ask when they're in the home? Do you have anything that you do like that?
So we have a welcome folder packet that we give to every new client, and then we actually end up giving it to a lot of our existing clients. Anybody that rebooks with us that hasn't booked in 2 years, we'll give it to them too. And it has a list of all of our services in it with some of the things. It explains our referral reward program and just a list. So we open up that packet, and I have technicians, a couple of them. The one technician loves it. He's just like, he was like, I only want jobs that have folders with them because I'll sell more stuff with them. So it's just like, okay, you know what? You're just getting a folder with every job then, because if you can sell more with folder, and that's what that's your tool that you need to sell more, you're getting a folder with every dang job.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and so they do have it's incentivized for them too. When they bring rugs back to the shop, they get a commission on them too. It's just like they get a commission on anything that they do at the house that day. So there's a lot of drive and motivation for them to be able to make more from it. And then I think that to kind of touch on Miranda's thing, one thing that we try to do that I can't take credit as my own idea. I got it from Jen Colosso from Oriental Rug Cleaning Company in Dallas, or Ellen's place. She said that one year they just started asking when they were scheduling the deliveries, and we don't schedule the deliveries when we schedule the pickups. We wait until the rug is done and then schedule the delivery, because there's just too many variables in our opinion to be able to do that consistently. But when they schedule the deliveries, when they call them up, their office person reviews the invoice and sees, what services we did for them, how the rug came out, and then what services we can offer them in addition. So if there's no pad on the order, that's something that gets offered. And the amount of times that people will buy then over the phone, as opposed to buying on the spot when the technicians go and pick up the rugs, is actually pretty high. So if you're not already doing that, I strongly recommend considering putting that in some kind of a script for your office staff to be able to implement, because it really does affect the bottom line.
Mr. Belmonte, what say you? Do you have any ideas? Do you have anything particular you guys do to help get better sales?
Well, we use we use kind of like a package pricing. We have our basic full cleaning. That's an in-depth, complete cleaning of the rug. But then you can add packages with urine decontamination and you'll get basically it comes out looking like you're getting free protector. There's different packages with rug pad included. So we use that, which again was a Mark Kennedy thing. But most of the other stuff is, they really look for repairs when they're out picking up rugs. Just even little things like corners that are coming loose on, unraveling. That's where most of our add-on sales are coming in, is in repairs, just minor, simple repairs, but profitable.
All right, let's go. Let's see. I know I'm running you guys a little late and I apologize. I was so excited to get Kyle on here tonight. I haven't been paying attention to time. See what happens? Get all excited about something and mess it up. Okay, so we're towards the end. I want to get a couple questions in if you guys have them before we end tonight. Let's go ahead. Let's do it this way. Okay, Chris has already got. Chris, you didn't even let me finish, man. Go ahead, brother. What's up?
You guys already got my brain going on the pickup and side of things. I'm already thinking too much about that. But just Nate and I were going a little bit back and forth in the chat. Just deciphering with that silk rug whether or not it is an ink or if it's a dye or not. The rug's definitely crocking more with alcohol versus a deodorizing shampoo. That's where I'm at right now. And then just whether or not, I could talk all night on this, but whether or not going in with an acid with a mordant just to really get that pH right, whether or not it'd be worth it to truly test the pH on a rug like this, or just get right into it with a dye control, cool water, see what's flushing out of it.
So this, I'll give you my approach to this. And again, we're going off the picture, what you're saying. Even though you were talking about the urine, you said it was roughly around a 3. So that means you can smell it. You put your nose in it, you're going to smell it. It's just not really, really bad with salts. I understand silk is, we typically want to be around that 4.5, but we also got some possible dye migration and some things going on in there that I don't really want that substantivity, and I sure as heck don't want to set it. Now, I'm not saying for sure it's ink or not. I don't know 100% until I test it myself and I really get into it. But let's just say in general with what you have and what we've seen so far, my thought is obviously we're going to be not using any alcohol because we know that's the problem. We know what that's going to do. But we also know that deodorizing shampoo isn't going to cause a major problem. And we also know we don't have a ton of urine salts. So if it was me going at this, I would be going at it with deodorizing rug shampoo. Okay. And I would go with the first in, last out on this. I would go a ½ ounce per gallon and I would wet it out with that. And I'd be, of course, watching closely. I would probably have my dye control in the mixture with my deodorizing shampoo. Get it on front and back, work it in, and then the dwell time is going to be really managed by what's going on. What is the rug telling me? What's coming off of the rug? But my goal is going to be to get it clean and get the urine out. I know I can do that probably in one cleaning with, if it is around a 3, like you said. I also know with water volume and everything else, I can pretty much control what's going on if I move quickly and I don't sit around. And I also know the deodorizing shampoo is strong enough to get me through the problem and get that urine and get that smell out of there. So that is the direction I would probably go first. And then after that has been solved as far as the urine goes and it looks clean, then I'm going to look at, okay, can I fix this migration problem? Can I fix this ink? Can I make it look better? What does my client really want? If they care about that, then now I'm off to starting to mess with that. And the blue going into the kill strip, I mean, it's on the back of the rug. I'm not going to concentrate too much on that. And I sure as hell don't want to make it worse. When I diaper that rug up, I'm going to double that diaper. I'm going to roll side to side, not fringe to fringe. You know what I mean about that, having that fringe out so you don't get no stamping on that fringe. And then I'm going to get it in and out. Don't put it in that centrifuge for long. There's no reason, if you do what you need to do on the floor correctly, there's no reason to be in that centrifuge for more than 2.5 minutes tops. A lot of times you'd be in and out in a minute and a half.
I'd go a minute.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to get there long at all. Okay. But that's how I would do it. And then I would address the little things. If you've ever watched Nate do some post stuff, he is so precise on what he does. He just does a little bit at a time and works his way through it. I think that's what would get you where you need to go. Tony, I see you have your hand up. Go ahead if you've got a comment on this topic here.
Yeah, no, first of all, I don't want to sound like a jerk, on the phone, but since I'm only the student, Cam, I have a question. What about going in with dye control and first in with dye control and some wicked awesome odor control, then washing it with bright and soft so you're keeping it below on the acid side instead of using the deodorizing rug?
Well, look, you could definitely do that. There's nothing wrong with it. However, I wouldn't go to the Wicked urine remover because I don't have a salt problem.
No, the wicked the odor absorber, the one that's the mineral based.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, you could definitely do that, but I would look at it as it's silk. I want first in last out because of the cationic.
Okay.
And the odor absorber is great. It's phenomenal, but it's already in my deodorizing shampoo. So I've already got it there all contained. So instead of having to use that one, then the bright and soft, I'm taking out one step and wiping it away when I really don't need it. So the dye control in that shampoo going in first, I think would do the job really well. And remember, that's non-buffered too. So that pH isn't staying up that high. It's going to drop pretty fast. And then I think that allows you to make the adjustments in the spot cleans like Nate would do on the post side of things. And having said that, Nate, let me have you jump in. Am I wrong? Am I right? You think that's a good way to go? Not go? What do you think?
Sorry, I was crazy deep into chat.
I'll skip past Nate. Anybody got another question? Question. Anybody? Anthony, what do you think? Is not that Anthony, this Anthony. The bald one. That's Belmonte. What do you think? Would you consider going the way I mentioned, or would you go a different direction on that?
No, I think that's what I was saying. That first initial cleaning, I think that's the way I would go at it. You could certainly do that as your first in, or you could do a dye control type product as a first in. But if it is more not necessarily per se dyes that are moving, it's a pigment or an ink, you're probably better off just going, with your shampoo. You can use your deodorizing shampoo, although I'm not positive. Where's the pH on that? On the deodorizing shampoo? That's a little higher, isn't it?
It's an 8.5. Yeah, 8.5 non-buffered. Just like 8.5 non-buffered.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, you obviously need something for the urine odor. Obviously that's probably the reason the rug's there in the first place. So that would I would probably go your route like you were talking. And then I'm not real familiar with the mineral based product he was that Tony was talking about. But
Yeah, the liquid odor absorber is a product that our chemists put into our deodorizing shampoo. Um, you know, when we set out to do that, we told Tony told the chemist exactly what he wanted. He said, I'd like to have this, and this. And when he mentioned this product to Tony was like kind of doubting it, and he started testing it. And the test that was coming back was just really proving that the stuff was really good. And it's
Yeah,
something
one
Tony
other
can talk a lot. Tony, explain it a little bit so they kind of understand. You're much better explaining it than I am.
Yeah, well, it's some type of mineral based. It's a trade secret to the company that actually invented it. But I could spray a 2 ounce per gallon solution on material that I've just poured coyote urine on it, and I would let it dry and not even rinse it off, and I could spray it on there and I could make the odor go away. And then what really sold me was quite a few orders went to California for furniture that had smoke smell and rugs that had smoke smells, and they went that route on the furniture. And on the rugs, I would assume they did the deodorizing rug shampoo. What are you laughing for? What did I do?
No, it's not what you. Nate puts in there. Tony has a pet coyote. I'm
Well,
trying to
No,
do.
Kyle
actually,
was right on my heels with why not Roadrunner urine?
And Tony, and the fact
I
that he
run and
collects
chase
the
my
urine
shepherds
too.
around the
I
yard.
mean,
Well, I'll tell you guys.
Kyle, when you come up, you're going to be milking the coyote urine for me. I need some more.
See, Kyle, you didn't know why we really wanted to get you involved with us. Now you know.
you guys are a bunch of sick jerks.
You're gonna be milking coyotes for a living here the next month. All right, let's get back to being sick. Look, this stuff is really good. All I can tell you is if you ever try it, test it, put us through the ringer, and then you let me know how good you think it is. Then you'll be very happy with it. But question for the business savvy, Robin, jump in. Go ahead.
Okay, here's my dilemma, my issue. We're on pickup and delivery. Right now, we are scheduling 3 to 4 weeks out, pickup and delivery. That's Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Um, the problem is I can send two guys. I like to send a knowledgeable guy and then an assister. The guy that knows and can educate on rugs, and then the guy that assists him, basically a big guy that can move the furniture. Because we do a full service pickup and delivery. Problem if I send the knowledgeable guy out, we're getting 6 to 8 pickup and deliveries on that a day. If I just send two, I take the knowledgeable guy and I say, "You're on the wash floor today. I need you in shop." And I just send two guys to go, "Hey, just go get the rugs and bring them back to the shop. That's all I need you to do." We can get 8 to 10 pickups. But my sales also goes down about 25% by doing that. So I'm losing sales, but I'm getting more rugs in quicker by sending two guys out just to get the rugs and bring them back, compared to sending a knowledgeable guy out and getting the rugs, educating them, and going over the rugs. My dilemma, I'm in a dilemma on what's the best practice there. I like sending the guy out, but I'm also having to that's pushing my pickup and deliveries out even further.
Let me go to who's going to be the lucky winner. I see this little grin in the background behind her, and he's just going, "Yeah, Miranda will knock it out of the park." So, Miranda, you're hired. What do you think?
Oh, great. Well,
Hi, Robin.
Robin, you know that if you ask me anything like this, I'm always going to stop thinking about, I mean, revenue plays a key, right? But I'm also going to think about the intuition and the energetics and like what's coming up for me. And right now, what's coming up for me is that the reason why you're having those differences is because the numbers are going to be down because your clients are not going to receive as good of an experience as they are receiving when you have one of your best guys. So I think you're right to go with that combination of having one of your knowledgeable guys and a helper. That's actually what we do. I send Scott and a helper on Mondays, and I send my main tech and a helper on Wednesdays.
But I'm fast, guys. I mean, I can chat. I can talk a lot,
No.
but you
Yeah.
gotta move through it when you got 6, 7,
Yeah.
8 stops in the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Um,
so maybe just have a chat with
a
them.
lot of it happens in the lead up phone call with Miranda. She's always kind of laying the pad protector and cleaning, right? So I get there and talk about construction type, traffic areas, lotion on feet, fun stuff like that we talk about inside the home. And then I always just kind of touch on while we're filling out a card to tag it. We just touch on the pad, the protector, and more than likely they've already heard about it. So it's it works really well for us. But we love to have clarity and good education while we're doing it.
I do have a question though. I'm wondering if one of the reasons why it's taking that much longer is, are they just chatting about the rugs and asking questions? Or are they doing like full-blown inspections and full-blown pricing in the home? Because we never do that in the home. We get the rugs back to the shop, and then I always tell the person, we'll inspect your rugs in the shop, and when we're done with the inspection, we'll email you your final estimate. So we can go through ballpark pricing over the phone, but my guys, when they're in the home, they are not allowed to discuss pricing. They are not in charge of pricing. They're delivery guys at that point. So that cuts down on the time in the home because they're not allowed to ask my guys pricing in the home. Does that make sense? So I guess I would ask you, Robin, why is it taking so much longer? And then, what are those conversations and what kind of parameters and boundaries can we put up?
Robin, before you comment on that, if you're going to, I want to jump up to Kyle because I know he has an idea too, and then we can address both of those before we end the show tonight.
To Miranda's point, that her philosophy of not giving the price, I would absolutely love to adopt that at my company, but our market will not accept that because I've tried it before, does not work. They want a price before I leave that house. I've tried it, just doesn't work. I wish it worked. But okay, so if you can't tell by now, I'm an I on the disc assessment profile, so I like to talk. And so that's a problem that I have. So I'll stand there and chat up the customer for like an hour and forget that I've actually done this before. I have chatted up the customer so much that I forgot to deliver the rug. And I was in my van and I drove away. I got back to my shop and I opened the door and I was like, holy crap, the rug is still in my van. And then I had to drive back there and deliver the rug to her. She thought that was the greatest thing in the world. She's client for life. It's awesome. We still talk all the time. It's too much. Anyways, so as you can see, again, I'm going off on a tangent. So I have to keep myself focused, and that might be a conversation again that you have to have, to Miranda's point, with your technician. For me, I make it into a game. It's like, okay, I got this many appointments today. I need to get these done, and I need to see how much more stuff I can fit in my day in between these appointments too, because I still have to do all the other stuff. So it could be something like that. You just need to have that conversation with them. We really appreciate you. One of the things that I do is my assistant that's with me, as soon as we go in the house, he starts moving the furniture for me and we'll roll up the rug as we're talking. So it's something that there might be other things that you can do while that technician's still talking and giving the diagnosis of the rug to the client. The other technician can be doing something productive in that time as well.
Making
Just
your
a suggestion on that.
Well, that's a great point, Kyle, because you see it all the time, especially in the carpet cleaning world. The company hires a new helper and he's been there for a while. All of a sudden, the manager goes out and he's watching. They walk in the house. The person starts talking to the customer, and they know what they got to do. The customer, they're introducing, and the guy's just standing there doing nothing. He didn't bring in a wand. He didn't bring in a sprayer. He's not moving any furniture. He's doing nothing. And that happens in the world of rugs too. We get on a job and there's 5 rugs, you're taking them and they're standing right beside you while you talk to the client. Why are you standing by me? Get away from me and go roll up the damn rug, But that's true. Robin, I don't know if any of this helps. If you got one more comment before we end the night, go ahead.
No, I mean, we do not do the pricing in the home. With the experienced guy, we do a quick inspection, a basic inspection. Um, and I think that's where a little bit of the time goes because you sometimes those quick inspections can get pretty detailed. Once you see one little thing you want to discuss with them a little bit, turns into a big thing. And then I think that's where a little bit of the time comes from. But I mean, there is a big difference between sending an educated person out to talk about the rugs and then just sending two people to go pick up the rugs. Um, but there is a big difference there, and it's just a. I keep going back and forth in my head on which one's going to be better for us as far as we can get more rugs in the shop quicker, or we just go get the rugs in and educate and give that customer that experience.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. The education experience, and I think, you know, the constant training and meetings and just discussing things will improve it as it goes along. And I think you'll find yourself getting better and better. Robin, thanks for a great question. That's a really good one. Um, Normally I would jump to a slide now that talks about our military. I don't know if Tom's still here. Poor guy, he's been working so hard helping me out. I can't ask him for too much more. If you are here, Dom, go ahead and throw it on. If not, no big deal. But you guys know how we like to end it, and I thank you guys so much for being here. Great show, Kyle. It's awesome to have you on the team. If you guys have any ideas of what you want to see on this show, what you want to hear Kyle talk about, or myself, or Anthony, or Tony, anybody, Miranda, all these people I consider the best of the best. And if you guys have subjects, please put that subject out there so we know what it is and we can talk about it, and we'll get it done. So, but thanks to our military first responders, they are the best of the best. There is nothing better. We appreciate them, and we sure as hell appreciate you guys. Till next week, take care, be good, keep it clean. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys. Thanks, Dom.
Night, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Cam. Appreciate it.